Hello, and welcome to day 2 of Writer's Craft. I needed to sit outside after a full day inside, and so you might hear cars and birds and crickets in the background. And this is sort of my creative process. I needed to get some stuff done and found that being outside was much better for me, getting away from sitting at a desk or sitting in four walls looking outside. That's something that you might want to think about is that depending on how your school is working or monitoring your learning, if there's an opportunity to work in an environment that is conducive and best for you, that's something that you should think about. There is a part of this course that will require you to do some homework. So that's an important component as well. Just finding the time and finding the space in which you can access the material and complete your work to make sure you hand it in on time. Speaking of handing in assignments or even discussions, in the agenda today, there was a bit of a mix-up with that discussion for Unit 1, Activity 1, and so I've cleared up the dates and made sure that you can access those. So people have started posting in there and just wanted to make sure that you knew that it was open and that you can go in and post. You may notice in those discussions, as we're speaking of them, those discussions are dated for 2019 beyond that first one. So I need to go through, and what I do is usually sort of like a week by week or day by day basis. I was just trying to see how far we could get. So you'll see that I've edited the dates there, but this next one is for 2019. I promise that we're not time travelers and that we're not going to go back to 2019. Actually, it was a good time in February 7th, 2019. That was right before we went into lockdown for the beginning of the pandemic. No, that was 2020. Never mind. So 2019 was a good time. So I will be changing these dates. So these do not appear in the calendar on the main page because they are backdated, but I will be changing those as we go through. What you should find is that as I update them, as we go through the agenda that you can find on the course home in the announcements, is that the dates that are listed here for these assignments will correspond with the assignments that are coming up here. Okay, so here, for example, we have the same assignment. I might end up editing this so that we only have one of those notifications. This is the same discussion that was introduced to you today. And it's just letting you know that 11:30 on September 9th, that discussion will close and you will not be able to post in there. That's a really important point. I've started setting it for 11:30 p.m. Just so that we don't roll over into the next day. If you do not get an assignment due during school time, that you do have time after work. And I realize that some of you, or after school, some of you do have jobs. So you need to make sure that you have a little bit of time to hand those in. So I've set them for the latest time possible on the due date so that you can try and make sure that you hand those in. So even though the other discussions or assignments say 2019, what we can see here in the calendar, we're up to date and we see a little blue dot. What we know is that is the discussion that was posted in the agenda on day 1. What you'll notice for tomorrow is that I'm going to enter in day 2. I won't always count down the days, it's just for the first week. But what you'll see is the announcement goes right on top of these. You can choose to close these down if it helps you clear it up, but I would actually recommend leaving them all in case you miss a day. Then you can go back to the agenda of that day and just go through what the due date is, and then even go to the calendar and just make sure that you're on top of your work. So the long and short of that is discussions have an end date and an end time, and they literally disappear unless there is a reason, something that we've created or discussed and is being used in an assignment. Then they won't disappear. They will simply close and you just can't post to them anymore. Okay? So it's very important that you complete your discussions on time for the promptness and completion of some assignments, but also to participate with the others who are participating in that discussion. All right, I want to thank you so much for letting me know some of the problems that we were having today. So with dates or times, things that weren't opening, I do not take offense. It actually helps me when you are able to let me know if a link isn't working or something isn't going right or you're not able to access the material. I can go through and figure out what exactly is going on. So that's a big help to me. So email me anytime with any broken links or things that aren't quite working for you. Okay. So, what we are going to do today, you will see on day 2 that there will be a new agenda. We're going to jump a little bit from Unit 1, Activity 1 into Activity 2. So you're going to go through the agenda, access the content, and start to get in there. I'm also adding an extra little activity that I'm going to send to you via email. So it will be a link. And so that will be in your email in VLE. So you're just going to go right up here, click on that, and you should see that email from me. What I would like you to do is, this is called a Padlet. Some of you may have used it before. And so what I'd like you to do is you're going to double click anywhere, and then you can type in those 3 things. So what are you typing in there? What are 2 or 3 things you're interested in, one boring fact about yourself, and make a connection to 1 or 2 students, something that you have in common or something that you agree or staunchly disagree with. So for me, I've got number 1 and 2, but because there's nobody else, I'm going to have to go back in here. I'm going to have to edit it after I read through a few, and I can finish and continue on and make those connections right there. So this will be emailed to you. It's just a little get to know you. We are going to be working together and in groups. So it might be good to know who's in the class. And so I was hearing that in your class list that you weren't able to see everybody. So we just want to make sure that we're getting to know somebody else in the class so that it isn't quite a strange thing when I put you together in a group to work on a collaborative document. Okay. So one last thing that I wanted to let you know is that while not required, a lot of students find success rather than emailing, that we can go into a Google Meet and discuss assignments that are coming up or confusion that they have. They'd rather talk through it, and I can give a live tutorial while we're doing that instead of me making a video or whatever it may be. So I'm going to start doing that on Friday, where you'll see in the announcements there will be a Google Meet, an optional Google Meet. We all may be working at different times. I am not online until the afternoon. That may not be when you are working. So it is optional, but it's an opportunity for us to meet and chat and maybe work through some of the challenges that you're having. So that will be this Friday in the afternoon. I'll probably do it around 1 o'clock, but that will be posted in the announcements to come. One last thing that I wanted to give you the heads up is that part of online learning is that I am required to put together reports every 3 days about your progress. And so when we were in semesters, this was just once a week, but because we are on a time constraint, that is going to change a little bit. So every 3 days, you're going to see an update, and you will get an email. Your guidance counselors will get an email. And even parents or guardians can receive this email. And what's included in there is a report as to your progress, whether you're not engaging, whether you're excellent, or somewhere in between. And it will contain a little bit of a comment, just if it's not excellent, what exactly is going on. So we're looking at that you're logging in every day. I'm looking at that you're participating to your fullest, that you're handing things in on time, that you're not missing any assignments. Those are the things that might be included in the email. But I wanted to give you the heads up that that email does go to your guidance counselor at your home school, so that if there is a problem or you're flagged as being a credit alert, that is the prompt, and usually a discussion between your guidance counselor, you, and I, in order to get you back on track, or what we're going to do to help ensure that you're successful. So if you start seeing emails come to you to your email address. Either if you're in board with Hastings and Prince Edward, that would be your apps account. And for others, it might be an outside account. So just to give you a heads up, those are things that happen. In addition to that, anytime that we go through and we are working on assignments and they get handed back, you can actually check in on your grades right here. So you can start seeing what your grades are. They will show up just down below here in a little chart. And my internet just isn't quite working there. Anyway, so those marks will show up and you'll see your name, and then you'll actually see, so these are the orientation quizzes, so congratulations on getting perfect, and this actually shows me that it's handed in and that it's ready for marking after the due date. So your marks will actually show up here. Yours may look a little bit different. And you can actually get feedback. I provide feedback with each of the assignments, and yours just shows your assignments, your mark, and then you can actually click on that feedback to see what your mark was, or what your feedback was, or how you could improve on your assignments. So lots of little things that I wanted you to know about VLE. And again, if you have any questions about what was in this video or what was in the content or assignments, please don't hesitate to let me know.